Corbin Burnes
Mm,
is a Baltimore Oriole.
they're the favorites in the AL East. Look at how well they did last year, and that was without Corbin Burnes.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. New customers join today and you'll get $200 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. With me as always is my producer, Steve Granado. Steve, we're in season. We're back to 5 days a week.
We are officially in season, 5 days a week, starting today. Thanks for clicking on the show here today, guys. We have some stuff we need to get to, some news over the weekend. The Yankees are headed to Mexico. Tell you about the details later on in the show. Joe Girardi returning to the Yankees here in 2024. In a different role. We'll tell you about that coming up next. But Stacey, of course, after our show was taped for Friday, weirdly enough, we were talking about the Baltimore Orioles. And about, an hour after we finished recording, the Orioles made a massive move.
It's our fault.
Corbin Burnes is a Baltimore Oriole. Of course, the trade happened on Thursday afternoon. DL Hall and Joey Ortiz heading back to Milwaukee. Didn't seem like this deal was going to happen, period. That Corbin Burnes didn't seem like that was going to happen, but it has. Stacey, we alluded to it during our Friday show, but now we have a whole new outlook on this, a whole new look at this team. The Baltimore Orioles, for as serious as they were just a few days ago, are even more serious and seemingly might not even be done.
Right.
Your thoughts on the Baltimore Orioles as they currently stand?
They're the favorites in the AL East. I mean, look at how well they did last year, and that was without Corbin Burnes. So add him to that rotation, and you have another year of experience for their younger players, and they're really frightening.
That rotation you're alluding to, Stacey, currently stands as this: Corbin Burnes, Kyle Bradish, Grayson Rodriguez, John Means returning, Dean Kremer as the 5. Of course, Tyler Wells would be the 6. First call, he had a really good season, over 115 innings pitched last year. It's like a 3 ERA or something like that. It's a serious rotation, dude. And when you throw in the rest of the mix of what that team has, yes, they're very, very young, but that might be arguably the best thing about them is the Baltimore Orioles are a team that you get these young teams and you go, they might not know better that they're not supposed to be as good as they are.
Like Arizona.
And yes, we were talking about it a lot, obviously, last season. During the whole season, we were chatting about the Orioles. From the very beginning, we were talking about the Baltimore Orioles. And it became apparent very quickly that club last season was starting to overperform and were ahead of schedule. Now that they are ahead of schedule, they can add, which is what they did. Now, they haven't had any other significant moves here in this offseason.
No.
But this addition of Corbin Burnes, I mean, he had a quote-unquote down year last year and was still very, very good. And we're talking about on Friday, Stacey, we had mentioned that they were a team that was lacking the veteran presence, especially on the pitching front, especially in the starting rotation, and they got it. Now they have it.
Yeah. Whew. I mean, good for them. And, as you said, they were ahead of schedule. They now have the young guys now have playoff experience. It wasn't a great experience for them, but they have that now, which no one expected last year, again, because they overperformed. So that also helps them in that regard because they know what it's like to experience getting swept out of the playoffs. And maybe some of these guys are like not exactly playing with a chip on their shoulder, but they have that experience and they don't want that again. So they're hungry to make it to the playoffs and go beyond the first round. So there are a lot of things working in their favor. And if I wasn't a Yankee fan, I'd probably be rooting for the Orioles because they're a lot of fun.
They're very exciting, and now they just got a serious top end of the rotation arm who's going to lead that staff. Weirdly enough, Aaron Boone kind of became available here this weekend. He was doing some sort of signing in New Jersey or something like that. And
Oh,
he spoke with,
it's a whole Yankee thing. It's a
oh,
whole
was it?
a bunch of Yankee people were there. Yeah, it's an event that they've only had for the past few years in New Jersey. And I never get to go to it because I don't drive. But yeah, like a lot of people are there. Past Yankees, current Yankees, broadcasters. It's a whole
Oh, well,
thing.
there you go. Well, there you go. So Aaron Boone did speak on this a little bit. We don't have the full context of all these quotes, but we just have the quotes coming here from the New York Post and talking about Corbin Burnes, saying, quote, that could be a little bit of a problem. Also going on to say, obviously an amazing pitcher going to a great team. We'll see a lot of him and look forward to the opportunity to compete against the best. I mean, these are nothing quotes. Those are obvious quotes. Yes, this could be a problem. This could be a very serious problem if that rotation is healthy. And even if that rotation has one injury in it, it's not like they have a schlub coming out of nowhere to fill the back end. They still have Wells. So there is a lot of upside for this Baltimore Orioles club, Stacey. I don't care necessarily about what Aaron Boone says here, especially these quotes. Again, I'm taking these as just like, yeah, okay, we all think this. We're all in the same headspace, and I guess it's good that he's in that headspace. But how much should the Yankees worry here, Stacey? I mean, obviously you're not, every portion of your life isn't consumed by what the Baltimore Orioles are doing at Camden, but
Right.
still, like when it comes to wanting to win the American League East and further than that, like how much should they be worried about Baltimore right now?
I don't think they should be worried. They should just, they know that Baltimore's a good team. They should be thankful that they're not playing them 19 times anymore. It's down to 13, and the rest of the ALE should be happy about that as well, because you don't have to face them as many times. I mean, losing 6 games, meaning having 6 games against that team removed from the schedule at this point, with them getting the way they are, is better for the teams in division. But I feel like, yes, they should know that Baltimore's there, but it's not like the Yankees didn't do anything. And I know their rotation doesn't match up, but let's not forget they got Juan Soto, so they upgraded the lineup at least. And they shouldn't really be so focused, like, oh my God, it's Baltimore. Like, we can't escape anyone because, we used to have to worry about the Rays. Now we have to worry about well, that's how competition is supposed to be. You're not supposed to run away with a division. You're supposed to have other teams in the division compete with you, and I kind of like it better that way.
Sure. I mean, we're going to have a full-fledged American League East preview once we get closer to the season, so make sure to hit subscribe for that, because that'll be coming up here in a few weeks when we start previewing the season in full capacity. But I mean, as a precursor to that, I think it's the Orioles division to lose right now.
Oh yeah.
And I know that might be saying a lot. I know that might be a little presumptive here at this stage. We haven't seen this team on the field. There is a legitimate likelihood that there's sophomore slumps all over that Orioles roster. That totally could happen. It could be a one-off.
Yep.
Who knows what the future holds for the Baltimore Orioles.
Right.
So I could be completely wrong in that, but I still think it's their division. And I still think even with the moves and even with the more veteran lineup that the Yankees present in 2024, I'm right now, early preview, I'm thinking Baltimore. Even prior to this move, Baltimore was my favorite. I wouldn't say a heavy favorite, but
Right.
a favorite to win the American League East right now. I think they still are much. I mean, the Red Sox aren't in the running here. The Rays have obviously taken a step back. I think Toronto has had a rough offseason here as well. They haven't added to it, especially at this stage. It hasn't been added to. So it's really, in my head, a two-way race between the Orioles and the Yankees. And right now I'm picking the Orioles.
Yeah. I feel like it's possible they could regress from last season, but they were so good last season. Like, I'm talking, they might only win 97. Like that kind of a regression, like they're still going to be good. But yeah, it's exciting for the people I mean, God, it was a 1-2 celebration between them finding out that their team was finally going to be sold by Angelos, and then getting this trade. They're like, I mean, Baltimore fans were high as kites. They were so excited on social media, and I was actually happy for them. I was happy for Connor, host of Locked On Orioles, because he went live with the selling thing, then he went live with the Burnes thing. He was like, he didn't know what to do with himself. So Yeah, I'm happy for them. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to be annoyed during the season when,
I was gonna say, I was like,
yeah,
you're a little too smiley
yeah.
right now, Stacey.
No,
I think
but you
you
know
remember
what?
you still gotta play these guys.
No, I know. But see, there's a part of me, because I've been alive for 7 Yankee championships, that there is a part of me that wants to see the teams that haven't done anything in a really long time. We're on 40 years since the Orioles did anything like that. So yes, they're in division. It would be kind of annoying, but I think if they got past the Yankees in the playoffs, if that happened, you know what I mean? I would root for them to win the World Series.
All right, well, we'll talk in 2027, and I'll see how happy you are with the Baltimore Orioles because they're set up for a deep, long run.
Mhm.
Let us know how worried you are about the Baltimore Orioles. Are we blowing it out of proportion? Am I blowing out of proportion? Am I wrong in saying that they are the favorite right now in the American League East? Or do you think I'm underestimating this Yankees team? Let us know in the comments section. Of course, while you're there, you can also leave your questions for Fan Mail Friday. And if you are a member of the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club, I want to hear from you as well. Text us about it. Of course, if you want to join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club, you get a whole bunch of really cool perks. Check out the episode description to find out more. And of course, a link to a 14-day free trial. You can text Stacey. You can text me. It's all there in the episode description. All right, Joe Girardi is back in a new capacity, but also kind of an old capacity. We'll talk about that when we come back.
Happy Super Bowl to all who celebrate from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. If you're like me, Super Bowl Sunday is all about scoring the best seat on the couch, grabbing your favorite football snacks, and placing some super bets. I love everything about Super Bowl Sunday: the Puppy Bowl, the actual football game, the commercials, the food, and the halftime show. I also love parlays. They're fun bets to make, and FanDuel has so many ways for you to end the season with a W or 2 or 3. Not only can you bet on who will win Super Bowl 58, but FanDuel also has bets for which players will score a touchdown, how many points will be scored, and so much more. New customers join today, and you'll get $200 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to sign up. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
Back now on this Monday edition of Locked On Yankees. Hey, everydayers, don't forget, we are every day again, Monday through Friday, here on Locked On Yankees. Of course, if you're looking for more, especially on the weekends, check out Locked On Sports Today, 24/7 streaming YouTube channel. You can check it out by searching Today. Again, that's Locked On Sports Today. Stacey, Joe Girardi announced that he is coming back. Yes, Network for 2024. They're calling him an analyst. I guess is a better, proper way to say that. Not his first stint on TV, for the Yankees, not his first stint for the Yankees. So a returning voice. What was your reaction to this one? We haven't actually talked about this.
I was like, oh, cool. It wasn't like, oh my God, I'm so excited. But it also wasn't, some other people's reactions who were like, who cares? But, when they say analyst, I believe that means he'll probably be in the studio in the, like, with Jack Curry and Bob Lorenz kind of a thing. I didn't mind him when he was on Yes. He's been on Yes a couple times. He was there in 2004. He was there a little bit in 2005 before he started managing. And then again, and then 2007 before he took over for Joe Torre. So it's just funny that this happened because, as I said off the air, my friends forgot. Like, I have a Slack group where we talk about Yankee stuff. And I was like, oh, Joe Girardi's coming back to Yes. And they're like, what do you mean coming back to Yes? I said, what do you mean? He was there a couple of times. He had different stints there. It's good to have former Yankees in the booth. They know the team. They know what it's like to play in New York, and guys who, especially like someone like Girardi, we always say that catchers make good managers. I feel like catchers and pitchers also make good analysts on TV because they really have like that, not inside information, but their positions on the team are so much more involved. No offense to hitters, but I feel like catchers and pitchers are really like driving the game. Like, they're the ones that you really have to pay attention to. And I feel like those guys are the ones that Cone is great in the booth. And I feel like Girardi is a really good analyst.
I think the word you're looking for is instinct.
Yes.
the instinct of catchers and pitchers, mostly catchers, but yes, pitchers as well. They just have that different quality to them on a general basis. Obviously, you mentioned that we might see him in the studio. We don't know officially. Yes, was very light on the details. All they said was Joe Girardi's coming back as an analyst in 2024. What does that mean? I don't know. I don't think he's coming from air of this job or anything like that. I don't think he's gonna be like an on field or anything like that. But
Could be
you
third
might
guy
see
in the
him.
booth.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe he's in the booth sometimes. Maybe you might see him do like, you remember he used to do like that youthful Yankee show thingy that he used to do way back when. He used to like host that show.
Yes, I loved
Yeah.
that show, even though I don't have kids. But yes, it was a great show. They should bring it back, actually.
Obviously, they do the Path to the Pinstripes and stuff, and all the. By the way, the staff there, we obviously dealt with them in Scranton. They're awesome. They're like really, really great people. They do an incredible job, and they take that job very seriously and treat it with true dignity. It was really a pleasure working with those people from Yes. But yeah, so it's not really clear what the role is going to be, if it's going to be the color commentary role or anything like that. But we will hear from Joe Girardi in some capacity this coming season. So you can look out for that. Stacey, I've talked about this on a few occasions. The unhinged take of Yankees Reddit. And so much, Stacey, I've talked about this so much. I don't think we've ever actually brought this up on the show. This might come at some point. But we've flirted with the idea of making this a weekly segment of the unhinged take, the worst take of Yankees Reddit that week.
Yeah, I think
still touching on it.
I don't know.
As a precursor to that, a trial run, a beta test of that. The unhinged take of this, Stacey, on Yankees Reddit is that, well, Aaron Boone's contract is done after 2024, and now Joe Girardi is coming back because he wants to be manager. And that take is so 4D, deep level, tinfoil hat, Charlie Day, and Always Sunny. It's insane. I can't believe people are putting credence to this. I don't know if you've seen that, Stacey. I don't know if that's hit your Slack.
Well,
but
yeah,
man.
No, not the Slack, but it's the same thing as when they brought on Osmus. They're like, oh, they're bringing him in because if something goes wrong, then they can get rid of Boone and it'll be fine. Like, it's the same kind of thing, but this is even worse. It's like he's doing the games. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. I feel like, not that it was completely sour, but it wasn't a great ending for Joe Girardi, and that's why it took him this long to come back. So I don't see that happening. But I'm not surprised by that take at all.
Yeah, people are running wild because of course they will. But Stacey, we did want to talk a little bit about this in regards to Girardi returning. Again, he's been here multiple stints, both player, coach, and on air, very much involved in the whole situation. We kind of wanted to chat a little bit about what former or current Yankees do you think could possibly be good on the air one day? I'll let you go first.
Okay, I actually have two because I thought of one while we were talking. My first one is Phil Hughes, which some people are going to think, but I'll explain. He's very witty on Twitter. He's really into watching baseball. Like, he's always watching baseball and tweeting about it. And again, former pitcher, former World Series champ. He really helped them in 2009, actually. And I feel like he would be a really good addition to the booth. And then I was thinking about it, another former guy, catcher this time, but he was always very well spoken when he was in his post-game interviews, but I feel like Austin Romine could be pretty good in the booth. Yeah.
Wow. Huh. That's a thought.
Yeah.
That was not the name I thought you were going to pick.
I know. But yeah, I was thinking about it.
My brain was going to Posada. I don't know why. As you were talking.
Yeah, no, it was, Austin Romine. I was thinking about it. I was like, he could possibly do booth work if he wanted to.
Well, there you go. My pick, Stacey, is an a new old friend. I think Kyle Higashioka could one day jump in. So I don't know how exciting Kyle Higashioka would be on the air. I think you would have to let go a little bit because he's obviously a very tied.
He's pretty straight-laced and
straight-laced, yeah. But obviously he's very smart. He knows the game very well. I don't know about being color, but maybe in studio.
And he has a
think he could
pleasant
make.
voice too, because you have to have a
Yeah,
pleasant voice for that.
very calming, again, well thought, well spoken,
Mhm.
kind of like the things you already alluded to. But yeah, Higgy, I thought could be one day. I mean, we've talked about it a lot. Remember, I'd mentioned like I wouldn't be shocked to see him be the manager, the skipper of Rice baseball one day, or of the Texas Longhorns or something like that. I feel like Higgy is going to. Period. I'm not even conjecturing. I think Higgy's going to be a manager someday, like somewhere, either NCAA or minors or majors. Like I feel like Higgy's just has that makeup.
One quick thing before we go to break. If you guys have not seen this yet, go to Derek Jeter's Instagram. Speaking of former Yankees who are now doing analyzing on TV, he was attempting to do a cartwheel and could not do it. And his wife was making fun of him. He tried it 2 or 3 times. He just could not do it. And it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. I've never seen a grown man. He looked afraid to do a cartwheel. So go to his Instagram account, Derek Jeter, and watch it because it is hilarious and will put a
Wow,
smile on your face. Yeah.
I did not see that. There
Yeah,
you go.
it's so funny. He legit
Amazing.
looked afraid to even try, and then he just didn't even it was bad. It was bad.
I don't blame him. I would be afraid to. All right, we're going to step aside one more time here. When we come back, the Yankees are headed to Mexico City. Details next. Back now on Locked On Yankees. Stacey, some really cool news coming out here over the last few days. The Yankees are going to go down to Mexico City here at the end of spring training, essentially, right before the season starts. They will be playing a 2-game exhibition series at Alfredo Harp Elu Stadium down in Mexico City. They're going to be playing the Diablos Rojos. It'll be on March 24th and March 25th. So it'll be a 2-game set heading all the way down south. And I'm super stoked about this, Stacey. So weirdly enough, I've been kind of following the Diablos Rojos recently. They've been making some news down in Mexico baseball circles. They have been kind of one of the bigger teams in I've only read this Lidom. I don't know how it's pronounced. LIDOM is like the the circuit they run.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have like a really big marketing push and stuff, and like they have these really cool jerseys, and they have this really pretty stadium. And they actually just added a softball team to the organization that they started playing with, and they've been like absolutely crushing it recently. They have this really good softball team too, part of the org. But yeah, I'm super stoked about this. We've been talking about expansion. I have been singing the praises of Mexican baseball here on the show for as long as I can think of, pretty much a year since I started because of the World Baseball Classic. So yeah, I'm really excited about this, Days.
Yeah, I was very happy when I saw the announcement on Instagram because it's always fun when the Yankees do something different than just regular boring spring training games in Florida. It's like, yeah, great. They're going to play the Tigers 50 times and the Pirates and everyone else on the East Coast of Florida because they don't really travel. And yeah, so this is really cool. And I really hope that Judge hits maybe one 600-foot home run.
So Mexico City, you might see that.
I know, that's what I said.
Mexico City's elevation is intense. It
Yeah, well,
is.
they also have to be careful with the breathing and stuff too.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. So there's a lot of pollution down in Mexico City, but there also is it's very high up. Elevation is very high. So I wouldn't be shocked to see Judge absolutely crush one out there. Tickets right now on sale are only through Ticketmaster. If you're thinking of heading down there, it's on pesos. The cheapest ticket I found was $45. So not awful for something like this, all things considered. If you're on the West Coast, like I am, a flight down to Mexico City is about 5 or 6 hours. If you're worried about travel into the country, it's completely safe in Mexico City. You don't have to worry about any of that kind of stuff whatsoever. But I highly encourage, if you can get down there, I think this would be a once in a lifetime type of thing. I think you should totally go if you have the means to do so, if you have the time to do so. They announced it early enough to where you can make these kinds of plans. This is awesome, dude. This is going to be really, really cool. And the chance to see 2 games, let alone if you've never been to Mexico City, beautiful city, incredible food, tons of music, tons of art, tons of architecture and like historical things. Like you could totally make a trip out of this. And I think if you're a Yankee fan and you have the means to do so, I think you totally should. Again, you can get some pretty cheap tickets and considering. And I think this would be freaking awesome, man. I mean, I'm over here thinking like, should I go?
I also believe, if I'm not mistaken, since it's Sunday and Monday, that Monday might be the first day of spring break for most people because Easter is the following weekend. So
Oh, there you
usually
go.
it's the week before. So yeah, you could possibly make a trip out of it.
Yeah, I think you should totally do it. It's going to be super awesome. I can't wait to watch it. I've been dreaming of stuff like this. I love when like the Padres went down to Monterey and like they did all this. I love involving the Latin countries because I mean, dude, they're the lifeblood of baseball, man. I love it. I love it. I love it. But Stacey, I wanted to also kind of bring up a theoretical here. Do you have any other dream places you would like to see the Yankees go play at? Because obviously MLB has been making a push like this. Like I said, going to Monterey, the London series with the Cardinals last year. They are trying to do this just kind of like the NFL started to do God, I say a few years ago, probably like 10 years ago, they started doing this. But yeah, baseball's starting to make this push. Are there any dream places you want to see the Yankees go play?
My first one is one that people have already, said that they want, and it has happened before. But I would like to see the Yankees play the Blue Jays in Olympic Stadium in Montreal because I would like to take the train up to Montreal and go because I think
Oh,
that would
that'd
be
be
really
cool.
cool. But I was also thinking Korea. I just don't know what specific stadium, but I think it would be fun if MLB teams went over there and played against Korean teams. I think that could be cool.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome. Um, my pick, Stacey, would be, I think, like tenfold of how cool this would be. Estadio Quisqueya Juan Marichal. That is in Santo Domingo in the Dominican
Mm,
Republic. It is the Juan Marichal Stadium. It is an iconic ballpark given the heavy Dominican population in New York and just the fandom down there too of Yankees baseball.
hmm
I think that would be one of the coolest things you could
Hmm.
ever see. Is like if there were any major league team to go down there and play there, it would be the Yankees. It had to be the Yankees. And to see them play down in that ballpark, either they face off with like the Tigres de Alice, they play out of there, or if you see them play like, I don't know, the Dominican Republic national team, and I don't know, 2026 when we're getting ready for the next World Baseball Classic, I feel like that would be really freaking cool, man. I've been dying to get to that ballpark. I've never been down to the Dominican Republic. That is one of like my life goals is to get to that ballpark and watch the Caribbean series or watch, the qualifiers for the World Baseball Classic. That is an absolute bucket list item. And if the Yankees were to go there, man, I think it would be a massive, massive success. They played them back in 2013, actually, the Dominican Republic national team in Tampa. During that first World Baseball Classic they had, how they do those kind of like those matchups.
Yeah.
So they played them then, but I think if they got the opportunity to head down there, end of spring training situation, then catch a flight back to Newark, I think it could be really freaking cool, man.
Yeah, I think that'd be really, really cool. As someone who lived in a heavily populated Dominican neighborhood for quite a few years in Manhattan, and when the Yankees won the '03 ALCS, oh my God, there were horns and things going on all night in my neighborhood. It was fun, and then the next year it wasn't so much fun, but '03 was fun. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen obviously how massively popular it is to be down there. When you consider, just this weekend in Miami, like the Caribbean series down in Miami was a massive success. I think they set a new record for that ballpark, which is awesome. So again, this is just pipe dream stuff, dude. Like this is me conjecturing. I would love to see this, but again, the Mexico City thing is going to be freaking cool, dude. It's going to be one of the coolest things you'll see next to that. I forget what they're calling it. The series with the young guns that they're doing at spring training.
Oh, right.
Uh,
Yeah.
we want to talk about that when we get to spring training a little bit closer. The spring breakout series, that's the official name of it.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some cool things going on here this spring training, and obviously the Yankees have a big part of it.
Baseball needs to do more of this. We're always saying it, so it's good that they are.
Yes, I love it. Let us know in the comment section dream places you want the Yankees to go play. Of course, I don't know, maybe your backyard might be one of them too. I know a lot of people are going to do the Sandlot thing. It's not going to happen. Just letting you know, it's not fit for it. It's not
Yeah.
fit for it. I would love it. Big Sandlot fan.
Right.
Favorite baseball movie of all time, but that's not gonna happen. But I want to hear some other ones. Obviously, they got to do the Field of Dreams game and stuff like that. Ended sour, but still an awesome experience. Let us know in the comment section. Stacey, what do we have coming up on tomorrow's episode?
Top off-season episodes. We had some.
We had
we get some interesting moments in the offseason that were unexpected. So yeah.
Yeah, and if you're a new fan, it's going to be a good place for you to go to find everything you need to catch up for this coming season. So we will do that on tomorrow's show, as well as a whole bunch of other stuff. So make sure you hit subscribe. And of course, join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. Link is in the episode description. 14-day free trial, and you get a whole bunch of really cool perks. And that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Yankees. I'm Steve Granado.
And I'm Stacey Gotsoulias, and I feel like I haven't said this in a while, but we'll see you tomorrow.